Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Believe in Tennessee Football. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerberson, joined with Reed Bacon. Have another amazing episode. Before we get into any of that, please, guys, subscribe, like, hit that notification bell if you're watching on YouTube. If you're just listening, follow, rate, and review. It really helps us. Really helps us move forward on the chart. So please keep doing that, and please share with your friends and family. Let them know that this is a great podcast to listen to, that we're very entertaining as we try to be. But on this week's podcast, we're going to be talking about Vol baseball a lot. Big news, new stadium coming out. Evan Russell dealing with some rumors, horrible rumors spread about him, and Tennessee in the regional, and a very exciting game versus Campbell. And we also have a little recruiting news, have a new offensive line recruit. So we talk about him and what he might bring to the table. So another great podcast. Let's jump into it.
The game. Snap. The kick is in the air, and the kick this time is no, sir, Reed. No, sir, Reed. Final score: Tennessee 20, Florida 17. Pandemonium reigns.
Loads up, fires long for the end zone. The pass is going to be caught by Tennessee. Tennessee wins! Caught by Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes the catch in the end zone on the Hail Mary.
Down at the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. What did he do? All he did was score. Joey Pence, touchdown on play number 1.
All right. So before we jump into the podcast, shout out our number one sponsor, betonline.ag. If you're wanting to go anywhere to bet, this is the place. It's the number one source for all the best odds, the stats, everything that comes with it. They've got stuff on the NBA playoffs going on. They've got stuff on MLB. They have golf. They have fighting. They have even casino. So everything you could think of, this is the place to go. It's the best place to bet, and it makes everything more exciting when you do it. So hop on over there. When you do go over there, it's super easy to get started. You can use your mobile device, or you can go on their website and use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, when you sign up, and you receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So awesome. Free money. So why not use BELIEVE as your little code when you go there? Tell them that we sent you. So head on over. Again, that's BLEAV promo code to get that 50% welcome bonus. Bet online, where the game starts. Okay, welcome in, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic week. We have a big Vol baseball podcast ahead of us. But first, before we jump into anything, Reed, how we doing, bud?
Oh, doing well. Getting used to Naples, enjoying Naples. We had it was my first tropical storm this weekend, but it's kind of wild because they were saying, like, this was Thursday night I was watching, and they were saying that, like, hey, lots of rain coming in. Okay. But then it said, hey, we're going to get some wind, some all this, all that. And so Friday didn't rain that much during the day, but Friday night it was like, all right, I see what they're talking about. Like, it was humming, like coming down.
Yeah.
And then we're supposed to get the worst of it Saturday. Now we woke up Saturday and I don't think it rained once. It was just like partly cloudy, like whatever. And the day was beautiful. And it's funny because my sister was supposed to come down and visit. And when she saw that, she's like, what the, like, I'm not flying down there in a tropical storm. Like, it's a waste for me to come down there. And so she ended up canceling her plane ticket. And then Saturday and Sunday ended up being beautiful. So it's just like, Sunday ended up being beautiful. Saturday was, like I say, it was fine. It was totally fine. It was just a little partly cloudy and stuff. But weekend's been good. Great church service today. Just been hanging out. Last night we tried a new restaurant, or obviously all the places down here are new to us, but we tried a restaurant. We went to a pizza place, Napoli's, and just got it to go last week. Very good. Well, right next to it was like a little bit more upscale place.
Uh-huh.
They had a 40-ounce bone-in ribeye for
Chill out.
For $99. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I was like, I'm going to do it because I think we've had a conversation about maybe on this podcast about my feelings towards steaks. It's like, I feel like some of the higher end places you go, they charge you 60, 70, $80 for a steak. And it's not any better than like in Knoxville. Like, I don't think it's any better than a $25, $30 one from Chop House. Or
I think we kind of discussed that too. Even like comparing it to the steaks you grill at your house.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, is it really worth it? Like, to spend that much. But the reason I decided to do it last night was because it was 40 ounces. So I was like,
that's a lot.
It's a ton of meat. So I was like, I'm going to get 3 meals out of this, but like, it was a fantastic restaurant. The steak was very, very good. I'm not going to sit here.
How many ounces did you take down in that one sitting?
Not a ton, because I just don't want to eat as much as I used to. Right now, I'm trying to lose a little weight, like legitimately, like have decided this past week was my first week of really like watching what I'm eating and more cardio and stuff like that. So I want to get down a little bit. And I try not to eat as much red meat anymore. But like, I ate a decent amount. But I brought a bunch of it home. The bone, I kid you not, the bone on this thing was huge. We got a picture of it. I might send it to you if you want to put it. Let me say this. Send it to me next to a toothbrush or next to a remote control so I can get some like size comparison. I don't have the bone anymore because they cut it completely off the bone. But I will say this: the picture she took, you can see how big the bone is because it's a live photo. But when she took the overview of the shot, and it's funny, she's like so annoyed with me. She's like, "Reed, why do I have to take pictures of your food?" And it's all because I want to show my parents or my family.
My Instagram, babe.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have Instagram stuff for losers. But yet when she took a picture of it, it didn't even express how big it was. Honestly, Kyler, it literally, when they brought it out and how they had it shaved, it looked like a massive piece of like brisket. Like it's how they had it sliced, but it tasted very good. It came with a white sweet potato, which I never had before, which was outstanding, and it had a little Japanese twang to it. And the sauces they brought out for the steak had a little Japanese twang to it. So, but yeah, it was the first, and that's the reason, because like it really wasn't about the money, because if not, I was going to get like one of those seafood towers for myself, and then like some ribs. So I was still going to spend a bunch of money, but I was like, all right, this $99 better be worth it. But it was very good. Like I said, it's 40 ounces, so it's a ton of meat.
Yeah, I'd probably get sick of seafood by the time I left down there, because that's all I'd be eating. Just because I know, like, hey, this is you're close to the water. It's better down here than it is in Tennessee.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Well, the first weekend we got here, like I said, I was just hammering. I got lobster one night. I got shrimp cocktail a couple times in a row. Lobsters a couple times in a row. My favorite thing is crab, so I ended up getting crab one night. That was $80, and it was funny because I used to crack and eat as I went. This time I literally took like 30 minutes, cracked it up and had a little mountain of crab and drizzled a little butter on it and just went to town. But it was exhausting because like by the end of it, you're like, geez, I need to eat. I'm so tired of cracking all this stuff.
I know. There's a lot of work that goes into it. I'm actually going on vacation, not this week, but next week. So I'm very excited. We're going to Mexico. So I'm about to pig out on some tamales, enchiladas, tacos, margaritas. It's going to be a good time.
Hey, you didn't. I just said. I guess you didn't hear me because you just said. And then it's like, where are you going in Mexico?
Oh, Tulum.
Oh, Tulum, nice. Okay, I've heard it's great.
Yeah. So me and my wife went down there for our honeymoon, which was almost 6 years ago. And the place where we stayed when we went on our honeymoon is like 1 minute away from the place we're staying now. So it's perfect because it's like the exact same area, and we know like where things are from the last time and stuff like that. So now I literally figured that out yesterday. Yeah. And I'm like now even more excited.
So did you guys get a house, a condo, or are you staying at like a resort or?
Yeah. So it's kind of like a resort, Zamas. I guess is how you say it. But it's not like one of the high-rise resort kind of things.
Okay.
So
well, that'd be.
didn't want to do it that way. That just seems so annoying, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you. I mean, I hope it's a great time.
Oh, it's going to be. I'm going to make sure of that. All right, let's jump into the conversation we have today. First, before we get into Tennessee baseball and everything that happened this past week, we got to commit Savion Herring. I hope I'm saying his first name right. Offensive lineman, JUCO transfer, was originally committed to Cincinnati, then with bad grades had to go to JUCO. And he just finished off a whole run of official visits and decided on Tennessee. And his main thing about Tennessee was the coaching staff. And I like that. I like to hear that from recruits, that they enjoy the coaching staff. But something I've told any recruit that would listen or asked, I've told them not to pick a place based on the coaching staff. That's not what you should do. That you have no idea if those guys are going to stay. You could lose every single person on that staff. I had three head coaches, if you count Coach Cheney, who was a interim head coach for me, and multiple offense coordinators, multiple position coaches. It's just that's probably not the best thing to pick a school off of. But I'm very glad he's coming because it adds a lot to that 2022 class. It adds depth in the offensive line room, which is always crucial. And I watched his film, and this guy has some upside. He moves good in space. He had a lot of, pulls and getting out into the perimeter. He is really good at looking for work on pass protection. He's at guard. If center's blocking a guy, tackle's blocking a guy, he's looking to blow somebody up. And I felt like he was strong. He has length, 6'5", 325. He's got the right size for it. One thing, though, is he struggled on two eyes, inside techniques of him trying to cut them off or trying to block down on them. And that's probably just some technique stuff, some first steps, stepping underneath yourself so you don't get any momentum going towards the man, which can be fixed. Really easy. Just got to learn. But I'm excited for him. What do you think?
Yeah. 6'5", 310. That catches my eye. So a bigger guy. Kyler, it kind of worries me in a way that, and I don't know, because obviously I'm not in the coaching room, but it's there's only really two things. They see this guy and they're like, hey, this guy could be a gem. I really want to work with him. And I think that he could really be good for us. Or it's this is telling us that they're adding basically any sort of depth they can or any sort of anything that they can because they're worried about the offensive line. So maybe I'm wrong. I mean, like I said, those are the only two things I can think of, which I'm hoping it's that they just see him and think there's some good potential there and hey, let's bring this guy in now if we can.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hope it's not a detriment to who's on the roster. And I said that last year with Joe Milton when they brought him in. I was like, maybe they don't like what they see on the roster. And obviously that didn't matter. And you know what? Maybe they really didn't see what they, Hendon Hooker could just not have been a good practice guy, or whatever. And he just came out and balled out and gamed it out and won it. But I thought, if I'm not mistaken, when I was watching, he was playing a couple different positions. Yep. So they had him on right side, left side. So that's nice. That's a plus. I thought he was pretty active, which I like. I thought he had some nice tenacity and some nasty. We love that. Mm-hmm. Pretty good athlete, which is good. So listen, all those things I'm fine with, but I'm not going to go head over heels or freaking jump to the moon because we got some 2-star late in the process. It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's depth. I think it's just adding depth. And no way am I this guy's going to start. Maybe another year or two he could. But
I will say a plus. I will say a plus about it is that he is a JUCO kid. So he's not if there was ever going to be a need, like it's nice that he's coming from JUCO. And listen, I know a couple buddies, like close buddies that played in JUCO, and they said it was an absolute joke, like with like meetings and weightlifting and all that stuff. Like you're really just on your own and just trying to, you're a super mercenary. Like it's, you got to go out there and get stats and get the hell out. But at least that he's played and it hasn't been high school, and maybe it's helped him mature. Like when you go there, like you realize how you have to handle your business. Yeah. So those are some good things. But yeah, I mean, offensive lineman, I'm not going to say like I'm happy he's an offensive lineman compared to if we just gotten a 2-star defensive back or wide receiver or running back, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. And I was just thinking about this. I was like, I might say this a lot for the offensive lineman that like, hey, this isn't a start right away guy. This is like a couple years guy. But with offensive linemen, that's what you want. Like you never want to be in the scenario where your freshman is starting, because I'll tell you right now, the difference between a 22-year-old and an 18-year-old is really big. It is a huge difference. If you have a 21, 22-year-old defensive end going against an 18-year-old left tackle, it's not a good matchup.
Well,
I don't care if he's the number one recruit in the nation. He ain't going to be able to do it, bud.
Now, I mean, nowadays, these guys with COVID years and all this stuff, guys been playing for like 19 years. I mean, you got like 23 and 24-year-olds out there just whipping up on kids.
I know. I remember when all that was coming out, and I was thinking about it like, dude, what if I had an extra COVID year and had another year after my senior year? And it was 2016, and it was the year that we beat Florida and we beat Georgia on the Hail Mary. And like things started to fall apart at the end, but I was like, dude, if I was there, I just automatically was like, if I was there, it would have been different. It would have been so different.
Yeah,
that's just me in my head being like, you know what I mean, just believing in yourself so much. Like, oh, it would have been different. It would have been so much like what's his name off Napoleon Dynamite, or his Uncle Rico, or he's like, if coach would put me in for state title, I swear we would have won. I don't know why he benched me.
Yeah, I can see it now. Big 77, got his little hairband, and he's just running down the field to jump in the student section after beating Florida. He's got tears coming down, and then I can see you running down there celebrating with Jawan and like grabbing him and picking him up like after the Hail Mary.
Oh yeah, it would have been incredible. I wish I could have been a part of that, but it was still nice like seeing it after I left, because it made me like feel good about where it was, and then fell back to the earth.
Which is a nice, you know what? This is what we call a professional tease. We are going to be we're going to be recording tonight, but next week's pod, or 2 weeks from now when you're on vacation, is going to be about Butch era, which we did a dually era, and I think some people like that. Like, I mean, if any of our listeners are like me, they love to hear the stories. Like, that's what I used to call you about, man. I used to call you and talk and hear stories. I would always talk to you about when you're in the NFL, and I would it wouldn't even be a phone conversation. I'd just be like, what's he like? And then you'd answer, you'd answer, and I'd be like, well, what's he like? And then you'd answer. So,
what's he like? What's he like? But yes, very good teaser for next week. We will be wearing the same outfits, so don't be confused by that. But let's jump into fall baseball. So quite a big week. Let's start as the week progressed. So first thing that happened is images come out of the potential new stadium. I say potential because, you know, they say like these are subject to change. Like this isn't going to be the exact layout. But this is what they're looking at. And, you know, I'll put pictures on the YouTube, but man, I am so excited. This is what everybody's been waiting for. And there was talks about it moving downtown, you know, away from campus really, but I'm so much happier with this. I'm happy that it's in the exact same spot as it is now. It's right next to the football facility, practice facility, which I love. It's such a great location, actually really close to like Fraternity Row, you know, really close to like some some classes, and the, football complex, the track complex, like it is such a good location. I think they're going to have to worry about parking over there because there's really no parking, but this looks like what a number one baseball team stadium should look like. All these renderings, like this looks professional. You can see that like they're thinking about adding like a little facility off to the side for the guys, probably like batting cages and a workout place for them, which is great because I know a lot of times the small, quote unquote, smaller sports get pushed off to the side. They don't get like deserving things as much as the bigger sports. So it's good to see that. And one of the things I love the most is they're still going to have the seats in the outfield. So like the porch-esque seats that we have now, it's going to be a little different, but I love the fact they kept that feel to it because those porch seats were like the cream of the crop of Lindsey Nelson Stadium, and they're still keeping them on. And it's like, it's still kind of traditional with the stadium, which I like.
Yeah, I'll say this. When my dad and I went a couple of weeks back, I didn't think the parking was that bad. I actually thought for a pretty full stadium, it wasn't bad. Maybe I didn't have a parking pass. Maybe we just got lucky. I mean, we were getting there a little bit later.
Did you park on the street?
No, I got a little secret hiding spot. It's not a secret, but it's a permit.
Reed, who's lived in Knoxville his whole life and has gone to games there all the time, like on campus all the time, knows an exact spot where to park. It's a little bit different for everyone else, Reed.
Well, let me just say, I thought that there was still some very good areas to park, even when it was like packed house. But yes, this parking lot, which there's probably like 20 or 30 cars in there, but it is designated that you have to have a permit. But I've parked there like 10 times and don't have the permit. So I think that sign is for during school. And so people are like, oh, we can't park there, you'll get towed, but really it's not for events.
Yeah. So they're not checking in the middle of the day Saturdays.
Exactly. So I haven't done it for football. I've done it for basketball and baseball, and it's worked out. So knock on wood, next time I'll probably get towed. But
you're gonna be screwed.
Yeah. But yeah, I was so excited to see that. I was so excited to see that. It makes me nervous. I'm like, we're gonna build all this awesome stuff, and then like we probably won't be that good, and then no one's going to go into the games. But because I really do think, Tennessee fans are great, but we still need to be like, I think they're still going to be competitive. They're not going to be maybe this good. I will say this, knock on wood, not to scare people. I do think Tony Vitello's around to stay for a while. I really do. Like,
I think that's easy because with college head coaches, like the only place to go is MLB if you wanted to. But if you are a solidified head coach and you're good at your job, you could literally just keep getting paid more and more and stay the same school forever. Because, other schools have done that too.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I guess if he wasn't going to leave to go back to Arkansas or to like LSU, then like I'm not worried about losing him because it's like we're going to be just as good as them as a program. But yes, baseball coaches, I feel like they can stay forever if they're, if they're good. Because like you said, you're not going to go to the MLB really, or hell, I don't even know if it's. I guess I'm just not as locked into the. So I'm like, maybe I'm sitting here speaking out my butt. And I'm like, he wouldn't want to go to the MLB, but maybe he would because he don't have to recruit stuff. I don't know. I'm not really locked in, but I feel like he's got a pretty sweet gig going now because he's worked his butt off to get it there. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Yes, it looks beautiful. I'm happy they're going to spend the money to do it. That's what you have to do now. So get that, get it up and going. It looks great. I'll be excited to go check it out. If it's for football, men's and women's basketball, men's baseball, like put the money into it, be competitive. They got plenty of it over there. So don't worry about it.
Exactly. They have plenty of that money now. Okay. Next up, let's talk about Evan Russell. And what happened with him over Twitter, over ESPN broadcasts. Apparently something happened within his family. Not even going to look up into it. Like, I literally did not look into it. So I'm like, listen, if that's what happened, if they want to share and it gets spread around, that's fine. But I don't care if it's like, keep it to yourself if you want to. And didn't look like he was going to play one of the regional games because he had to deal with that with his family. An Arkansas fan gets on Twitter, says Evan Russell failed PEDs. He failed a drug test, and he's out for the remainder of the year.
Wait, it was really an Arkansas fan that did that?
It was an Arkansas fan that did that. I don't know if that Arkansas fan was really thinking what would happen with him saying this. I don't know if he was like, this is what I heard, I'm just putting it out, or he was like, I'm going to start the rumor.
Yeah, start trolling.
But an ESPN color commentator doing another baseball game, and he got that information, decided to just share it on the Gamecast, and say Evan Russell's gone for the rest of the year because he failed PEDs. And I mean, I've never seen Vol Twitter get so angry and upset at someone, which is warranted because it's like, dude.
You need to say, we've seen Vol Twitter get really mad, but this one was rightfully so.
Yes, exactly. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say I've never seen him get that mad because, I mean, we did almost hire Greg Schiano, so I don't think anything's going to top that. But rightfully so, they get very upset, demand apologies from ESPN, from the broadcaster. The guy who tweeted it was like sending out apology tweets, like replying under other like Evan Russell family members that were like, everything's fine. Evan's fine. Our family's okay. We just are happy to be okay. Like, it literally didn't like go into anything. And this guy was replying underneath like, I'm sorry that I said this about Evan.
Did he ever admit like why he did it, or he just said like, sorry?
I didn't see anything that like said why he did it, but at least he apologized, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, as a color commentator, as a broadcaster, you got to look into it more. I understand you're wanting to get the scoop, but Jesus, man, like, you can't just say that on a live broadcast.
Well, I don't even know if you're like really getting the scoop out if it's already out there. Like, wouldn't that, and I'm not in TV, but wouldn't that be a producer in someone's ear like, hey, this news just broke, we need to get this out there? So wouldn't it maybe be a producer's fault instead of that guy?
I don't know, possibly. I mean, if it was a producer's fault, I guess like he can kind of like lean on the producer. But if it's just him, like, because those guys have dead periods during the broadcast, commercial breaks, all that kind of stuff. If he's on his phone and sees something, and then he like, look what I found, and no one is like, oh yeah, fact check it. They're just like, yeah, say it when we get back, because that'll be good ratings for us that like we broke it. That happens in journalism like, it's just, it's aggravating.
I do understand that people are always so worried about speed to break the story, and it always cracks me up on Twitter when like one person breaks the story and then other people, instead of just retweeting it or like subtweeting it, they just basically copy and paste it and then post it from their thing.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? It works because they end up getting just as many likes or retweets or whatever.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's insane. I mean, there's a lot of Vol Twitter accounts that are just like copy and paste from other ones.
Yeah.
And they've got 50,000 followers.
I know.
Well, I mean, if that's where people get their news, I guess that's part of it.
Right. The whole situation, yeah, I saw someone say PEDs early on, and then someone else said, no, that's not it. And this guy that is in this friend group of ours, very nice guy, but like, I guess he has some sources at UT, but sometimes he acts like he knows everything that's happened. And this still could be true. I don't know, but he proclaimed he proclaimed that Evan and Tony got into it and got into a fight, and Evan was like, all right, I'm leaving. I need to take a drive, and like never came back. Then I guess his dad put out some stuff. There was some mental health anxiety, some stresses, and which I totally understand. Like we just talked about it last week. I mean, what if Evan had like a panic attack, or what if he had, I mean, I don't know. I just think all the speculation, whether people are trolling, they're being serious, whatever, like it just stinks that that's the world we're in now, when if it really was like a family issue, medical issue, and I saw some idiot, he was a Vandy account, and it was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like if it was mental, why are they doing a physical evaluation? Like it doesn't add up. And I was like, you're a dumbass. I was like, I've gone over my years. I've had to go get my heart checked like 2 or 3 times because I thought something was going on with my heart. No, it was my stress levels and my anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, there's been times I've had to go get like other stuff checked out because of like, you know, because you're being affected, and it's like, hey, is that a real thing, or is it because of something like anxiety or stress or whatever? So I thought that was stupid. But yeah, honestly, for me, I just hate it for Evan. I don't know what it was. Like I just hate it for him and that his family had to deal with that. But you know how I am about social media stuff. I'm not in that game. Like I don't like it. I could care less. And it's just nonsense.
And think about it like this, because we were already going to talk about this, but someone left a comment on our last podcast about this scenario. But think about if a broadcaster had done this about an NFL player or MLB player or NBA player and was just like, he's not playing today because he failed PEDs. He's out for the rest of the year. Like the seriousness of that, you know how much money that guy has that he could lose because you're saying this on a broadcast?
Yeah.
It's like that for college guys. Like they'll lose an NIL deal or lose something that they got, you know, working hard and having good character and all that kind of stuff. And you just kind of like ruin it for them. Like you have to, like, this is a lot more serious because you're taking money out of those guys' pockets if you're sharing stuff like that. Now, I think everything's okay because it was figured out within like a day, but Still, it's like, hey, this is a lot more serious of a subject now with like NIL and guys having money and stuff like that than it was even, you know, 3 or 4 years ago.
So, yeah. And it was funny because you immediately see that like, hey, everything's fine. ESPN better get their checkbooks out if Evan and his family decide to, you know, sue them for defamation and all that stuff. And
that's true.
I don't get into these main like headline stories very, very often.
Yeah.
You know, like newsworthy type stuff. When the war first broke out in Ukraine, like I was like, I mean, I watched more news in 2 or 3 days than I did in like an entire year. And maybe in those 3 days, I watched like an hour total. And then, you know, so it's like, there's some things that'll catch my attention. And I don't know why. I didn't really spend a bunch of time with it. And it was more about when the trial, but that Kyle Rittenhouse kid, the one that was being on trial for shooting during the Black Lives Matter protest, I think in Wisconsin, maybe.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, there was people talking about it, but I think I was on YouTube one day, honestly. And like I was working out, doing cardio, and I was like, well, I'll watch this trial. And I just clicked it. And so it kind of sparked my interest of like, but I bring all that to bring up like this kid, and I'm not saying whether I believe right or wrong or whatever. I don't even really remember the facts of it. So I'm not trying to argue, but I'm saying like, I remember people talking about like this kid's on trial and he could either be found guilty of murder and is going to end up in the penitentiary and in jail, or if he's not guilty, which he wasn't found guilty, Joe Biden and government and all those other people are probably about to give this kid multiple tens and 20s and 30s of millions of dollars. Because if you remember, Biden tweeted him out and said, this is what white supremacy looks like. And it's like that guy's life literally went from on the murder trial, like worried about spending the rest of his life in jail as an 18-year-old, to now he's going to get book deals, all this stuff. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong or different, whether he should be in jail or not. I'm just saying that's what I thought about with this Evan Russell stuff. Is like, bro, you say one thing one time, and these lawyers are just, they're chomping at the bit. They're chomping at the bit to get after this because somebody's going to have to write you a big fat check for which honestly, that it should be that way. Like, I don't want someone coming out and wrongfully accusing me of something. I would hate that. Not even that, like, it would affect me, like, for some sort of public figure job, but like, I don't want to be walking out of Calhoun's in Knoxville and somebody like, oh, there's that guy who's a racist, or there's that guy who's like a, this or that or the other. So like, I get why people would sue. I mean, it's in this day and age, it's a crazy big deal because someone could tweet out something as a joke and people take it serious as hell. So it's crazy.
This is a great country and we got freedom of speech, but you got to be careful about what you say.
Yeah.
You got to be careful about what you say.
I hope the best for Evan. I'm happy that he came back and played last night's game. Wild game. I was nervous, man. I was nervous when you get in postseason play. It is, and I know this is double elimination, but it is still nerve-wracking. But hey, every time I get nervous, bro, they show me why they are a bunch of freaking pit bull, freaking dog ballers, bro.
I'm telling you, like, every time Campbell came with some kind of surge and scored some runs, there was an immediate answer. Immediate. From these guys.
Well, after the 4-0, I mean, they were up 4-0, and it was like the third or fourth inning. But after that,
yeah, there was the third inning. They went up 4-0 in the bottom, and then fourth inning, top of the fourth, Evan Russell double, Trey Lipscomb, or it might have been the other way around. Trey Lipscomb double, Evan Russell homer, or something like that, and it was 4-2.
Just like that. And then Drew comes out and bombs it, gives us the lead. And then it just keeps happening. Then they keep answering when they need to. I mean, we were out at dinner. I was trying to freaking scarf down 40 ounces of meat right in my little gullet, right in my little meat sucker. And I'm sitting there like watching. It just cut me off because it said I don't have any more video on my iPad.
That's fine. We'll use the Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I'll finish up. But basically, hell of a game. I was nervous. It shows why these guys are dogs, and I loved it. So
I know, there were so many key moments, like we just talked about. Drew and Trey getting those, two hits starting off at the top of the fourth. Then we have another home run in the fourth, and then bottom of the fourth to hold them at 4. Our last out, I didn't even understand what was going on. So Kirby's at the plate, or he's pitching. He throws it into home, like obvious attempt to get this third out, which I don't watch a lot of baseball, right? So I didn't really understand what was going on. But he throws it to the catcher so that he, like an easy catch for him, he immediately starts running towards third. And they do like a little trap on that runner coming from third to home. And my thought process was like, did he step off the bag that much that Kirby at pitcher was like, oh, I got this, we can get him out? Or was it more of like, if we do this at this moment, was it opportunistic or was it planned? I'm not even sure, but it was awesome because it was such, they had scored 4 runs in the third. We go ahead, score 3 in the fourth. They have scoring position, bottom of the fourth, to just switch the momentum back to them, and we stop them. So it just helped so much going into the later innings. Like, that was such a crucial play that I just kind of wanted to throw out there. And then, man, you mentioned it, but the 3-run homer by Drew in the 5th, it was, I mean, you can't get more Drew Gilbert. I mean, the size of this man's balls to hit a shot like that. And he had just done it the week before Drew Gilbert is, I mean, he is him. There's no way to really explain it. This guy has the confidence of the best MLB player out there. He swings for the damn fences every time. I mean, even his 2 swings before that, he's cranking that thing. And I'm just like, every time just more and more impressed with him. And I mean, pitchers have to get more and more and more scared of pitching to this guy.
Oh, dude, they're going to be scared of pitching the whole team. I mean,
I know. We just scored 12 runs. We're like, went scoreless through 3 innings and then scored 12 runs in the entire game. Like, it's incredible of how that ended up. What's even funnier is Drew hits that 3-run homer. Then the pitcher immediately hits our batter and with his pitch. And it's like, all right, what are we doing here? Like, this guy's just pissed. Get him out, kick him out of the game. They didn't do anything. They left him in, which honestly probably helped us because we just kept cranking on him.
Right.
They kept him in the game the entire time. Like, that guy was near 100 pitches by the end of it. And it just kept going back and forth. 2-run homer by Campbell in the bottom of the 7th makes it 7-6. Then each of us get a home run in the 8th. It's 8-7 at the end of the 8th. And you're just like, oh my God, like, how, like, are we going to be able to, like, what is happening? This doesn't usually happen to us. It's so nerve-wracking. It kind of felt like the Wright State game, last year when Drew hit that walk-off. And then the 9th, we just explode. 4 runs in the 9th. Great plays. And, shut them out on defense. And it's just like, this team, the resilience and ability to just fight through all of that is why they're the number 1 team. It's why they're the team to beat. It's why teams should be scared of what they have to play against. And, like, you got 2 maybe of our better pitchers, but we still got more that you didn't even see. It's just never ending, honestly.
Yeah. No, I know. It's insane. It's insane. All right, I got to plug this bad boy up. Good pod.
Okay. Go ahead and plug your stuff up. Get it charging. We got to do another pod. All right. This one was a little shorter, a little sweeter, but covered all Vol baseball, covered recruits. I appreciate you guys watching and listening. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit that like button. It helps. Leave us comments, ask us any kind of questions, any kind of stuff you want us to talk about. We're more than happy to. If you want to follow us at Believe in Tennessee on Twitter for our main account, at rbacon26read, at Kyler Kerberson on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just appreciate you guys, all you're doing, all of your support. As always, go Vols.